Welcome back to Life at the Manor. This is our opportunity of speaking to you. You've left so many amazing questions under the videos over the last month and a half, and we've been dying to answer them all. So this is our first Q&A. Are you excited?
I am excited. It's going to be great to engage with people watching and be able to answer some of your questions.
There's quite a lot to go through.
There is quite a lot.
So we've picked out as many as we can, and hopefully your question, if you left one, gets answered. I think you're going to start off with the first question.
I'm going to start off. So our first question is from Edgar. And Edgar has said, great video, I'm so looking forward to seeing your journey. Is your manor part of English heritage? Now, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, we aren't part of English heritage. We are obviously still a privately owned home, and I think with English Heritage, they are a charity that look after certain places and a lot of like historic sort of landmarks within the UK. But we are part of something called the HHA, which is a Historic House Association. And that is sort of privately owned homes looking to find different ways to diversify and bring tourists in. And that's an association which supports houses like us. And we are definitely part of that and have been for a long time, I think. And I know that James' aunt Caroline is on the board of the Historic House Association, or was?
Yeah, there's different associations, but she definitely plays a big role of that kind of group and those members. But Chavenage is a long time partner of that members and of that membership, and we look to continue it. And there's actually a next generation that we also are a big part of, and that's basically just supporting a few of us.
And James has gone and done a talk with people from other historic houses in the next generation and talked about the YouTube and what you want to do with it, and try and inspire other people who are in our position. It's really just to help each other out and support each other and give people ideas, and it's actually a really amazing association to be a part of, isn't it? Really helpful.
We're definitely happy to be included.
Yes, definitely.
I've got a question from Jack Like. I watch a lot of this old house here in the USA. Will you be doing similar style episodes of the remodel, reconstruction of the property? The answer is 100% yes. So a big part of the idea around this channel is to document our trials and tribulations of kind of renovating a 15th century manor house. And there are so many difficulties, but also challenges that you have to overcome. And we thought we've got the really rare opportunity of renovating a house that hasn't been done in over 100 years, and to document our journey with that. And so we actually started today. So Emma took one of the planning agents round, which is one of the big hurdles, and we learned a lot from it. But that definitely will be a big part of this YouTube channel. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because you're looking forward to doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, we're really excited about showing the renovation as it moves on over the next however many months it might take us. And hopefully for you guys, you'll be able to see what it's like now and what it's like when we move in, and hopefully beyond. So it's actually a really exciting time to join the channel, because we are very much at the beginning of this process, and there's so much more, and more to come on the planning, I think. So stay tuned.
More to come on the whole lot, I think.
Yeah, definitely. The Chapel 1879 has asked, where did you get the glamping container and how much was it?
Oh, good question.
It's a great question.
Are you gonna let them know how much it was?
Yeah, if I can remember.
Yeah.
There is probably a whole video that we could do about the glamping container, about us purchasing it, about it going in. It took months to get in because we had to wait for some dry weather, and the year that we put it in, it was incredibly wet down at the place where we wanted to put it. So we waited for months. I actually sold my flat in Bath to invest in part of the container. So there's a huge story there, really, isn't there, of how we got to there. But in short, we got it from a company in Nailsworth, which is about 5 minutes down the road from us here, and they're called Steel Pad Containers, and their whole business model is revamping, reinventing old shipping containers. So that's essentially what it is, and it works perfectly for us. They there's lots of people using shepherd huts and things like that, which are amazing. I think they look really, really nice. But with the steel container, they last for such a long time. And we've been super impressed with it so far. And in terms of cost, I think we probably looked at about
34 grand.
Was it about 34? We actually bought an ex-demo from SteelPad. Now that is a king-size bed, a full-size shower unit, a loo, a kitchenette, seating area, decking around the outside, bifold doors. It had a heater in it. It had a TV unit in it.
Yeah, it was fully kitted out, wasn't it?
Fully kitted out, and it was probably, I think, around 34,000. But actually, the return on investment is very, very good. So yeah, we'll come back to it in another video and tell you more if you'd like to know. But essentially, Nailsworth, SteelPad, amazing company, and yeah, it was around 34k. So
yeah, and keep an eye on that because we are looking to expand our glamping offering, but that's something for the future. I got one in from David, and David said, "Nice, Hank. How are you going to balance work with GCN?" Now I've seen this a lot about questions with me at GCN, so I think it's about time I answer. I am definitely staying with GCN, so at the moment I've just reduced my time there. I took on the house. Ems and I really wanted to give it our best shot, and I found it really difficult to leave GCN entirely. So I'm staying with GCN. I've just reduced my time there, and you'll see me doing GCN videos in the future. I'm actually going off working there next week, but we really felt it was important to us to start a channel that supports our home, tell a story that to you guys. But yeah, it was hard to let go of GCN entirely. So I'm luckily enough I'm staying there, and so you'll see me across both channels. That's
Definitely,
the idea.
and all the people asking about everyone at the wedding, everyone was there.
Yes, I mean not everyone,
but lots of them. Don't worry, they were all there. Julie Adams, great channel. Was it easy to get planning permission on your old stone barns?
Good question. Seeing as our meeting today went well.
We've been talking about planning permission a lot. And in the UK, this is a really, really important process. It's actually a legal requirement. And it's all to protect heritage buildings, especially grade 1 and grade 2 listed buildings. Now, our stone barns are grade 2 listed, aren't they?
They are indeed.
And to get planning on those was, I think, because of what we were doing with them, it wasn't too bad, was it? And you used a great company called Rural Solutions. So it's something that you continually have to keep an eye on and be aware of, and especially when we start doing things in the house, because it's grade 1 listed, there's so many rules and regulations that we have to abide by, and it's so important that you do, because all these laws and requirements are there just to protect places like this, and that's what we want to do. That's our whole aim, really, isn't it, moving forward? So yeah, it's an admin task and a process that you have to get right, but it's not impossible. So yeah, it was okay. Thank you.
We got a question in from RM7260. Fun video, thank you. Where are your female ancestors? You speak about your father, your grandfather, but not your mother or grandmothers. How did you get the house instead of your aunt? Massive question.
Huge question.
And I'm going to try and sum it up as best as I can, but I think there will be some ongoing...
There's a lot to this, isn't there?
There is. So this is actually a very female-run household in the States. You've got my Aunt Caroline, who's been kind of the rock of the cornerstone of Chavenage. You've got my Aunt Joanna that supported Caroline. You've got my dad who supported Caroline as well. And they've all kind of worked together. It's been a most amazing family-run estate. My grandmother has played a huge part. She got it with my grandfather at 21, 22 years old. Yeah,
and has been living in the house ever since. And, you know, James's grandmother had 2 girls and a boy, and they've all been such an important part of this house becoming what it is, haven't they?
Exactly.
And it's been kind of girl power.
It really, it really has. And then why didn't my aunt get it? Big question about that is because my grandparents believed in the primogeniture, which is that it went to the eldest son, and the eldest son would get the house, the land, and the whole estate. When my grandfather had the house, he realised that he wanted to stay in it until his dying day, which he of course did, and he looked after the house for 70 years. But he didn't feel it was right to pass it to my father and then pay all the inheritance tax, etc., that goes with it, and then for my father to have to pay the money when I took it on. So the family got together and said, look, we reckon it's financially better for the estate and the land to pass straight over to me, and that doesn't incur another set of costs. So the whole estate got passed over to me when I was 18, on my 18th birthday, and but I've only really taken on with Ems over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, and I think, there's so much within that question. And also just to mention your mum, who they've asked, is still here. She's just down the road.
Yeah, Mum's not far away.
Yeah.
She was in the cafe this morning with the family. But yeah, unfortunately, my father and mother got divorced, so my mother went to Oaksey, which is in the Cotswold Lakes, and she still plays a massive part.
And I'm
but
sure
hopefully, we'll get her on the channel soon.
Yeah,
exactly.
And primogeniture is one of those things that actually is a big discussion point, because it's something in the UK that now they have changed the rules around it, and it would just be the eldest legitimate child to inherit, regardless of sex.
Yeah.
I think that's right, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, the Royals actually changed it, and it came into action in 2015.
Which to me seems like totally the right thing to do. But I think people have their own opinion on it, and
let us know your opinion.
I'm sure that everyone has their own opinion on it.
Let us know your opinion, and then. But yeah, I think we've got a while to think about succession. we've only just got it.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
God, that's
a big question. That's a big question.
Right. What's Lority saying?
So Laurie Tyson is saying, also, are you guys ever planning on inhabiting the main parts of the manor and having a grand home of your own rather than just an apartment space within the manor? So
what would you like to do?
I think...
Would you like to have the entire manor as your own home?
If we maybe had sort of 15 children or something, then...
I mean, we better get cracking.
better get going. If we had loads of children, or we had lots of different family members living within the house, I mean, we're already going to have your aunt and uncle, your grandmother, you and I. There's already quite a few families going on. You would need more to be able to fill this house, to make it feel like a home. And I think, even us with however many kids we might be blessed with, it would be too much. And essentially, I don't think we'll ever have the financial stability to be able to do that. The main part of the house which we're in now is used for tours and events and filming and all things like that. And we'd need to keep that like that, especially, unless something was to massively change.
I think as well, it's like times have changed. My grandparents grew up with butlers and cooks and
they used the whole house.
And they could use the whole house, but nowadays this was actually their kind of sitting room, and then they ate next door, but the kitchen's a mile away from.
It's not actually so practical anymore.
It didn't really work.
Living like that.
And I think back 100 years ago it was very different. But nowadays 21st century living is totally changed, and that's a big part of how we are going to think about living in the house, because we need to utilise rooms in a way that would work in the 21st
And for us,
century.
what we're thinking about at the moment is how we heat just that section of the house that we're going to move into to make that sustainable and somewhere warm for us. So thinking about having to heat the whole house at one time it's just out of the question at the moment, I think, really, isn't it?
And we don't have, it is literally just
and this will be a huge house for us to move. The part of the house we're moving into will feel huge to us.
Yeah, and we can't wait to show you that in future videos.
Yeah, so at the moment, no.
Right, next one I've got from Elizabeth Malone. Was your aunt on Drew Pritchard's Salvage Hunters one time? She was indeed. She's actually been in quite a few different kind of like episodes or TV shows. We were in Salvage Hunters, we're in Antiques Roadshow, we're in what's it called? Twin Towns.
Oh, guys,
my dad
have to watch Twin Towns.
Check it out on YouTube. It's wild. Anyway, loads. My Aunt Caroline has been quite the character, quite the comedic character, as you can tell. But she's going to be on the channel more and more and more because she is worth her weight in gold.
She's amazing.
Right, you've got one.
Okay, it's Laurie Tyson again. How did you two meet? Okay, so we met in Bath. So James was living in a flat in Bath for a while. I was living in a flat in Bath, and we met through friends via the gym. We were introduced via friends, and then we bumped in.
My house actually burnt down.
Yeah, it's bigger story.
Another big story.
Big story.
Obviously not this house, but the house I built.
So you moved into Bath while that was being rebuilt.
Yeah.
Essentially, we met in Bath through friends, and I think I was away, you were away. I came back to Bath, walked into a coffee shop. You were in there. And we said, "Oh, hey, how are you? We went for a coffee, and that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We built up a really good friendship, both going through a lot at the same time, and then that friendship just completely blossomed pretty quickly into what it is now, which is lovely."
Here's another question for you, babe. Does it feel ironic to be living in the old servants' quarters when you two are Lord and Lady of the Manor?
To be honest, the whole thing just feels surreal to me, and I feel very grateful just to be living in the servants' quarters, if I'm honest. It doesn't feel like that. It
definitely doesn't feel like servants' quarters, if I'm honest.
It's going to feel amazing. Obviously, it needs work at the moment.
We're currently living in a 2-bed bungalow, so...
we're pretty on top of each other at the moment in terms of space, so this is going to feel absolutely amazing.
I mean, you're going to love a utility room and a boot room.
I can't tell you.
And multiple downstairs loos and...
No, one downstairs loo and a utility room is like my adult dream.
Game-changing.
I'm so excited.
Are you trying to be intentionally humble? I love your approachableness and humbleness. I think... Can I answer that? I think we are just being us.
I was just thinking, how do we answer that?
I think
are we trying to be intentionally humble?
I think we are. I think we try and just. I think the key for us when we started this channel is just to be who we are.
Yeah.
Don't change for the camera. Just because we're doing this YouTube channel, don't adapt and don't change our views, etc., and our values. And I think that's gone throughout. We feel incredibly blessed to be in this situation. We are very privileged. We 100%.
And we know that, and we
know that.
Yeah,
and,
we really do, and we appreciate it so much. But that without saying doesn't come with its own challenges.
100% does, and I think we're taking this on as a challenge. We want to keep British heritage. Is a cornerstone and alive, and we would love to see future generations take on the house. And everyone says, and it's really we are custodians to the house.
Yeah.
And we just feel we are going to be putting.
Yeah, we are looking after the house for the time that we are here, and then we will pass it on to somebody else to look after for their time.
Hopefully in a better state.
And hopefully we'll be able to pass it on in a really good state, and we'll be able to do our best bit towards keeping this house alive, which is the most important thing. I wouldn't say we're trying to be anything. I think we are
who we are.
We're just we're trying to be us, and it's really important for us, I think, that we are as authentic as possible. Because that's why we're doing it, really, aren't we? Try and share the story. My 2 cents, children are an immeasurable blessing. You all should have kids. They make life even more. We're doing our very best.
All right.
We're doing our best.
Tell the whole world everything.
Watch this space. Watch this space. This one for you, Martin Lancaster. Oh, you like this one? You
got a room for a mountain bike course or CX loop. Have you got a lake, which is always good for swimming, glamping, and caravan camping? 100% it is. We have done a cyclocross race here before. We are definitely looking to bring that back. We're just looking at the partners to do that with. So watch this space. Have you got a lake? We have got some small ponds. I wouldn't say we've got a lake. And we are looking to doing glamping. So there's a few options going on with the wider business, but you will see every inch of it as part of this channel. So watch this space. But yeah, we are also looking at caravan. It's just not priority right now. We've got the renovation of the main house is #1 priority. Having children. It's another big priority.
Gotta fill this house somehow.
Yeah, and then glamping is hopefully coming in the next coming months. But as you well know, these things are really expensive,
and they just take time.
We
to set
haven't
up,
really got the funds right now, so we are just doing little by little and building as we go.
Nip to Stan. Nip to D-Stan?
Don't
know
worry.
if I'm reading that right.
Yeah.
Why aren't you promoting the house as the house in The Ghosts of Greville Lodge? It's a classic Christmas film in the UK and deserves a mention. I've never watched the modern TV series filmed there, but I watch Greville Lodge every year. Totally honestly, I've not watched Greville Lodge and I didn't know it was filmed here. It's probably something that Caroline knows, but
there you go. The viewers have taught you something.
So do you know what? I'm going to watch it.
There you go.
I think it must be a Christmas. Yeah, it's a Christmas film.
But,
so
now we will.
But now we will, and that's so exciting.
We might do that at Christmas.
It's actually
we'll
so
do a
nice
video
to
about the behind the scenes of Greville Lodge.
Yeah, and it's nice to find things that suddenly you think, oh my God, it's filmed at Javenage.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Next question from Rob. This is brilliant. Your grandparents got the estate as a wedding present. Who from? My wife's just turned to me and said, we got a flipping steamer. Yeah, I mean, it is quite the present, isn't it?
I would actually really love a steamer.
Fine.
You know.
Yeah.
We should have put that on our wedding list.
But my grandmother and grandfather got it from Uncle John, who Uncle John was living in the house, owned the house. He didn't have any children, and so he passed it on to his nephew, and his nephew was my grandfather. He was actually dying at the time. He had cancer, and passed it on as a wedding present. And my grandfather and grandmother got engaged, and then a week later, they got married and they got the house and estate for their wedding present. And then Uncle John actually died a couple of days later.
It's a crazy story, really, isn't it? And there is more on that in the wedding video.
Yeah, so check out the wedding video if you want a bit more detail from my grandmother herself.
Have you found Coughlin? Sorry, 84868. Have you found any hidden surprises? Not particularly surprises. I think sort of you told me most of the things. I don't think there's anything that's been such a surprise yet, but due to the upcoming renovation, I think we're going to find quite a few.
Yeah, and I think this is the key about kind of documenting it all now, because as soon as we lift up carpets and floorboards, we potentially are going to have some big surprises.
Maybe we've got a video coming soon with an amazing antiques guy, and there's a few surprises in that video.
I mean, actually, there is some surprises yet.
So that's a really good one. So yeah, I have to look out for that one.
That's wild, actually. Claire, it says, are you going to have a Patron page? It's something that we've definitely thought about, but we were actually conscious that we didn't want to ask too much from people. And I think we wanted to provide the channel free, online, on YouTube, and yeah, not ask too much from you as the audience. And we felt like we wanted to start really authentically. We wanted to do it as cheaply as possible. We've luckily lucked out with an amazing filmmaker, an editor, producer in Sebastian Pinkman, who I worked with over at GCN. Unbelievable, and he's helped us grow this from the ground up really sustainably. And it is something we're looking at. But so if there's an audience there that would get something out of supporting the house, then that's something we would love to provide. But do let us know in the comment section below, because we definitely feel like...
And Patron is, you know, I'm very new to, you've been on YouTube a while, I'm very new to YouTube, and it's not something I actually know a huge amount about, but we know that other historic houses do it as well, don't we?
Yeah, so Mapperton Live is, if you haven't checked out their channel, it's phenomenal. So Julie Montague and Luke, who've looked after that house for a good while. We followed actually their story for a long time. Yeah, amazing. They're doing fantastic work, absolutely fantastic work, and it actually, you know, inspired part of this channel. Yeah, they are, you know, they do extremely well on YouTube. They have lots of different channels, and their house is absolutely stunning. So yeah, and they have a Patron page. So it's something that other people do, and you know, whether we'll do it in the future, I think we probably need a bit of time and something for the future. Yeah, it's definitely something we thought about. But yeah, do let us know in the comment section below. So Iona Cunningham, the filming quality is excellent. Did you have some of the GCN film crew support this project? It's a very
Yes,
good question.
we
I think
did.
the only man who can answer this question is our filmmaker and editor, Seb.
Hello.
Hello, mate.
It's actually quite weird being in front of the camera. I spend all my time over there.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of time together. Seb's
Yeah.
become part of the family, actually, and it's amazing because our family absolutely loves Seb.
Yeah.
And so he's become part of the furniture, and we owe a lot to what Seb creates. But how do you get the filming quality so high? How does it all work?
Well, it's my job. It's my job. This is what I'm here to do. But me and James have known each other for a good few years, 4 years now. I used to work at GCN as a creator. I was there for a year and then went off to go work on a round the world sailing race.
It's pretty impressive.
More within the sports documentary side of things. And
Which you're still doing, right?
Which I'm still doing. Yeah, still doing lots of sports stuff. I guess I'm a mountain biker at heart, not a road cyclist. Still trying to get him into the blinking mountain bike world, but
Yeah. It'll come. Blake's been trying to get me involved as well. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's what I do. I love doing it. I love working with you guys.
Yeah, and the quality is incredible. We're so grateful to have you as our little team. It is absolutely amazing, and people are so complimentary about the quality of it.
Everyone's like, oh,
You must have this massive
You must have
team."
this massive team, and literally, it's
For now.
For now, he is the team. But yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let us know in the comment section below but Seb has been
Yeah.
a cornerstone, he's been a rock, and he's really got this thing going, really.
Yeah, totally.
We've been
Got it
talking
off the
about it for
ground.
2 years.
Stop it, guys. You're going to make me cry. You're being too nice to me. Time to get behind the camera.
Okay, what's our
Okay.
next question?
Next question.
Oh, follows on nicely. Mike, hi James, I watched on GCN for a long time. Are you still working at GCN or have you left to take on this undertaking? Do you plan to incorporate cycling events into the channel? The question is yes. GCN is all again, I spoke about it slightly earlier in the video. GCN is being a great support of me. It's enabled me to grow a skill in presenting, in managing films, in traveling. I owe a lot to GCN. They're absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't say a bad word about them. I still work with GCN, and I'm hoping, if GCN would like it, is to do some GCN events here. So it is something that we're incorporating. The channel's been incredible to me, and they will be, they are a big part of what of how I got to where I am. So massive thank you.
Totally.
Next question is for Em. Now, we wear a lot of beanies in Em and I love. Actually, Em got me into a beanie. Em, when I met her, all she wore was a beanie. I barely saw her head. I thought she was bald.
When I first met you, you had very sort of your hair was always pristinely done.
But I was living in the city. It's different.
Yeah, like trainers, slick back hair.
Yeah, look. Basically, you're saying I look good. And now,
We just look totally
now
different.
you've become a country pumpkin.
Now
you
we
don't
just
spend
have
time.
mud on everything we own, and we're mostly in beanies, aren't we? But the beanies that we normally wear, which have been mentioned a couple of times in the comments, they're not sort of placed or anything. They're actually just my own brand, and we didn't realise until we started filming really how much we actually wear them. We either wear them or our sort of tweed caps, really. But they are a brand that I created about 5 years ago called the MNDT, and it's a charity non-profit clothing brand designed to support people living with motor neuron disease. And I set that business up after losing my father to the disease when I was sort of 22. It's quite a long time ago now. After I cared for him for a long time with his battle with the disease. And it's such an awful thing, and I don't know whether anyone will relate to this, but with something like that, you don't know how to help. The only thing that you can you really want to fight back against something like that, but there's really, with something like that, there's no cure. It's completely terminal. So when we lost him, I thought, right, I have to do something. So I set up I did lots of events and I set up this brand, and it went really well. And the most popular item that I sold was the beanies. So it's the thumbs up logo. And that's all just relating to the last thing that my dad could do was put his thumb up. And that was the one sign of connection that we used to have with him and communication. And it always gave us a bit of a smile. And he did that until the very last day when, with motor neuron disease, if you don't know anything about it, you actually you lose the ability to sort of move any limbs, but he could always put his one thumb up until the last day. So that was amazing. So that's why, and I've actually got the necklace on, which I just remembered. So that's why it's a thumbs up logo. And I used to sell these as well. And I'm not doing so much of it now because I've moved to Chavenage and we've got married and we've been taking on quite a lot here, as you can imagine, cafe and glamping. So I haven't done much M&DT, but it's definitely something that I will look to bring back. And I do still have the Instagram page and everything, so you can have a little look on it. And please do send me a message if there's anything that you might like. We did tote bags and hoodies and sweaters and all sorts of stuff. And it was, it's been an amazing project and we've raised loads of money. But that's the beanies that we wear, just to sort of,
And we are looking at doing more charity orientated stuff. We would actually, Em would love to do a fundraiser here at Chavenage. So it's a big part. The M&D Association, Doddy Aid is all a massive part of what we're doing.
It all means a lot to us, and hopefully we can incorporate it by maybe doing some events here or selling some of my clothing in the cafe, all sorts of stuff like that. But there's a big story there. So that's basically a short explanation of why we wear those hats.
And off the back of that, talking about merch and all that stuff, it is coming in the future, so stay keep an eye on that.
Stay tuned with the merch.
Now, the last question we are going to answer is from Jens. Just watched Rivals on Disney Plus. Am I right? It was filmed there. You are correct. It was actually filmed in this room, in the hall, and a multitude of others. They're actually coming back this year, and we're going to hopefully film some behind the scenes, but I don't think they'll let us. But we'll do our absolute most to kind of fill you in on some behind the scenes.
It's very exciting that seasons 2 and 3 happen.
We're trying to get the actors onto the YouTube, so fingers crossed. We get
That'd be amazing.
Well, that's it. We've hopefully answered a lot of your questions. I did pick out some that were reoccurring, and so I hope that if you have got any questions for us, then please let us know in the comment section below. This is going to be a monthly fixture, so we are going to make time for Q&As, and we look forward to sharing you more videos.
Yeah, we can't wait, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.